Hi YouTube, it's Lee, the crazy CNC guy, and here I'm in tutorial 6, and we're going to talk about writing a post processor for anything really using AI. Alright, so the first place that I start is I create an empty folder, and I'm going to put in that empty folder a bunch of files, a few files that I want to reference. One of those is the sample post processor that you have from whatever software you're using. In this case, it's FreeCAD. FreeCAD's downloaded installation comes with a few post processors, but they are sample post processors. Oftentimes we have to make adjustments to get code to run smoothly in our machine. So let's get this folder together. I've created an empty folder wherever I want on my system, and I'm going to put in there the Mach 3, Mach 4 post that comes with FreeCAD. That file is found in C, Program Files, FreeCAD 1.1, Mod, Cam, Path, Post, Scripts. And in that folder, you'll find whatever one you want to copy that is a generic send-along with FreeCAD. So let's highlight that, and we'll copy it. And we're going to drop it into our open folder here. Now we want to find code that works. We want to put that into this folder. Sometimes that comes from the manufacturer of the machine. Sometimes it's you've purchased the machine from someone else who has this sorted out, but they're using a different design software, CAM software. Find a file that you know runs well on the machine, and we're going to mimic it. So I'm going to apply this sample post processor from FreeCAD to my toolpath and compare it to code that I know works. Let's go back to our file system. We have the folder that we're working in, and we want to plop in there code that we know works. I have verified that this code works, and so I've renamed it Verified Good Code, and I've put it into this working folder that we're going to use. Let's now switch to VS Code. Open your Windows, select Visual Studio Code, and if you haven't downloaded this, it's a free application that you can use. I've already opened it. A couple of settings to make when you open up Visual Studio Code. Come up here to toggle secondary sidebar, open that, and make sure that the chat application is running in the sidebar. You'll find down here a prompt where you can type in directives to the chat. Choose the model that you want to use. I'm using Claude Sonnet 4.5, and I am in agent mode. And over here on the left, click on your File Explorer. You can either open the folder and search for it, or go back to your file system and right click and click on Open with Code. We are now in that folder, and I'm going to close out the initial instance that I had. Here we go. We have our verified good code, Mach 3 Mach 4 post.py, post processor. I am going to split the screen, and then over here I'm going to add in the tab for my verified good code. Now I'm going to switch back to FreeCAD. Now I'm going to post-process this job with the sample post-processor that came with FreeCAD. The way to do that is to click on Job, double-click, go to Output, choose that post-processor, and this is what matches up with your machine that you're running, either Gerbil or Fanuc or whatever. Choose the post processor and then hit OK. Move to the CAM tool bench, highlight the job, and then click on the post process button. Double check that it's using the post processor that you want and click OK. Select the folder where you want to output this program. Rename it whatever you want to rename it. I'm going to do test 1. Output. And I notice that it's a .nc file. I'm going to click save. Now I'm going to switch back over to code. And in code, I'm going to notice that there is this test output NC. So let's put verified good code here, highlight this window, and click on test output, test 1 output. And we see a couple of differences between the two code outputs. So what I do is I use AI to help me get this done. We're going to need this post. So in the chat window, click the plus. That adds it to the prompt. Click the plus for the verified code. And then the test code, click plus. And now let's write a prompt. Rather than seconds. Alright, so I wrote a long prompt there, and we're just going to let it grind away. I'll help you create a new post processor based on your requirements. Let me first examine the existing post processor and compare the output files to understand what changes are needed. Take a look at this. It added Mach4 underscore Moog. This is .py, and let's click here and then click that. Okay, so it's rewritten the post processor, or it's created a new post processor. Alright, let's see. I'll help you create it. Now I understand the differences. Update the preamble, add dwell, update postamble with M30, optimize feed rate, output, update the header format. Perfect. I've created a new post processor with all of the changes you requested. Key changes. Went in and told me that it added the G64, is that right? G64, where G64 enables constant velocity mode. Perfect. Spindle dwell, 10,000 milliseconds, yes. In Mach 4, if you did 10.0, it Mach 4 throws the code. So 10 seconds is 10,000. Add a comment, configurable, optimize feed rates, place this in the folder and go. So we're going to hit keep. So where we copied the Mach 3, Mach 4 file from, the post processor from, is not where we put our post processors. We have to put our post processors in a different location. Because it's our modification, we put it in a folder that is an app data roaming folder for FreeCAD. In your file system, click in your address bar and type %appdata, D-A-T-A, %/FreeCAD. Go into version 1-1, and then here in the macro folder is where we want to put our posts. And I've added, these are all add-ons that I've written and added in. So here is where you want to put that new post processor, and you can simply click on it. This is the post processor that was just written by Claude in Visual Studio Code. So let's click on that and drag it into our macro folder. And there it is. Now let's switch back to FreeCAD. We'll go into our job by double clicking it. We'll go to Output, select the post processor that we've just put into the folder, and then we'll click OK, highlight the job, and then click Post Process. And then make sure it's using that new post processor that was written, and click OK. Place the result in the folder that we are working in. I'm going to call this out1.nc. Save. And welcome to the grind, folks, because what we do is we go back to code, and now we see our out1.nc file, and we want our verified good file. Let's see what we got. Aha! Right away I see something that needs to be adjusted. Remember, be nice to AI. So, looks great. So I'm going to hit send that prompt, and let's see what it responds. So it says it's now ready to use. So let's hit keep. And then we go back to our file folders. We're going to take this adjusted post and drop it in and hit replace file. Now we're going to switch back to FreeCAD, and we're going to post process this again. So double click on job, make sure output, that one is selected that we want, that we're working on, click OK, and then click on job again, post process, click OK, and then save it in the working folder, out2. Boom. So we go back to code, and we can select our out2 folder on this side, or out2 file on that side. So it simplified a bunch of stuff. Let's see, G90, G94, G91.1. One thing I know about Mach 4 is that the toolpath visualization fails if you don't have both the X and Y in a line. So I want this post processor to put X and Y on each line. So I'm going to say alright, so that looks good. We want to drop this back in, so we're going to go to three. Then we switch back to code, and we analyze again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So over here, out2, I'm going to select out3. You're absolutely right. The logic isn't working properly. Let me look at the code and fix. So, rinse and repeat. I'm going to hit keep. It saves those changes. I'm going to go to the macro. I'm going to go back to code. Over here, out 3. I'm going to switch this to out 4. I've got all of my X and Y coordinates. So what this initial line does is it means that the tool is going to go down until it hits 1.697, wherever that is in relationship to 000, and then it's going to start all the traverses. So this is really the safe level. I guess we can run it at that. That would be the safe level all the way across the table. But I really like this safe level coming in after the initial beam movement. This could run. I would try it. The important thing here is to create a file that the machine runs well. And you can keep modifying the post-processor in this way, and you can eventually have a really solid post-processor for your machine and for your workflow. That's the point. It's not my post-processor, it's yours. Now, be careful. Always put your machine at an override of 10%. So slow your machine way down whenever you're running code that comes out of a new post-processor. We don't know what it's going to do. You can print out the code and check off each line as you go. So as you're looking through the code, look at the machine and see what the machine is doing. And if the machine is doing something weird, just stop and figure out what is going on and if there's going to be a crash. But if your feed override is set at 10%, you have time to catch it. So my recommendation is when you're testing new post processors, don't allow anyone to talk to you. Put the phone away. You have to be engaged with this. We're working with big machines sometimes that can hurt people and hurt us, or have very expensive fixes needed if we crash the machine. So be safe, 100% safe. Slow down, pay attention to what you're doing. That's what my mom would say. At least with that, she was right. Otherwise, she was completely nuts. And that's why I'm the crazy CNC guy. Okay, guys. I hope everything here is helpful and useful. Please like and subscribe, and be sure to leave comments on anything. I try to get to them and take a look. Be well. See you. Happy CNC.